We talk like stars that only meet once in the hush between the clouds. I felt something bloom, but the night was louder than your words. You smile like you meant forever, but your eyes were already saying goodbye. Maybe it was nothing, but nothing's never hurt this much. You didn't stay, but you didn't leave. You faded like fog when the sun rose. I waited for a message that never came. I waited for a reason to forget. Was it timing or was it truth? Were we real or just passing through? Some people enter like thunder, believe like silence you can't stop hearing. You were brief like a flame, warm enough to believe. Gone before I knew if I could ever hold you. We weren't love, we weren't lies, we were just a line in time that burned for a second and never turned to ash. I still walk past where we met like something's waiting to replay, but echoes don't return when the voice was never loud enough. You were close enough to change me, far enough to never belong. I thought you'd stay until the rain, but you left before the first drop fell. You were brief like a flame, flickering just to fade. Beautiful and cruel like all things that never stay. We didn't kiss, we didn't break, we were barely even made. But some moments last longer than the ones that stay. Oh, if I ever see you again, I won't ask what it meant, because some fires are only meant to burn once. We talked about hour, never kissed, 1,000 chances we just missed. You held my hand like it was air, I let go like I didn't care. We shared too much to be just friends, but not enough to call it in. And now the space between the lines feels deeper than the signs. Broke them soft, said maybe next time, then shrugged it off. I laughed too loud, you stared too long. We almost knew where we belonged. Your jacket smelled like restless skies, and I never asked the reasons why. Still and wide, yet suddenly you filled the side. The bakery smell, your favorite kind. Scent can be so cruelly kind. I checked my phone, no name, no ping, but I could hear your laughter ring. Not loud, just somewhere deep inside, where time and memory still wasn't grief, it wasn't rage, just pages falling from the cage. A quiet crumble piece by piece, the kind of break that brings no peace. I thought I healed, I really tried, but healing's just where pain can hide. Today you came without a sound and tore my stillness to the ground. You weren't there, not really you, but everything I once walked through decided now was time to speak. And I forgot how not to feel weak. A lyric here, a corner there, your shadow sitting on my chair. My chest got tight, my steps grew slow, and all I said was please don't show. Some days are just surprise goodbyes where nothing's real, but everything tries to remind you that you're not okay. No matter what, you smiled today. It wasn't grief, but something cracked. A ghost returned, I thought I lacked. The silence screamed a song you knew, and I broke again without you. But today you came like sudden rain, and I remembered all the pain.
We talked up our never kissed, 1,000 chances we just missed. You held my hand like it was air, and I let go like I didn't care. We shared too much to be just friends, but not enough to call it end. And now the space between the lines feels deeper than the signs. We made plans and broke them soft, said maybe next time, then shrugged it off. I laughed too loud, you stared too long. We almost knew where we belonged. Your jacket smelled like restless skies, and I never asked the reasons why.
Kept the mug you chipped and chewed. It was raining like memory does, washing down the things we were, the street we crossed, the joke we made now drips in colors that start to fade. You left your book at table 9, a folded page, a coffee line. I pass that place and hear your voice in silence that pretends it's choice. There's nothing big that broke the spell, just empty cups and words we held. You left one day and didn't say, but even there remembers. They say the moment you didn't turn to wave, I watched you vanish through the haze. You didn't mean to make it sting, but even that felt like a ring. Now waiters changing menus too, but I still taste a part of you. The chair still leans the way you sat, as if it's learned to ache like that. I wrote you once and tore it slow, a letter never meant to go. Still every night a quiet hum of all the ways I come undone. If you had turned just half a glance, this life might be a different dance. But shadows don't replay the was a Tuesday like the rest, rain on glass and coffee press. I didn't think I'd feel a shift, but you walked in my past adrift. You didn't see me at first glance, still my heart began to dance. You ordered tea like you once did, a ritual time itself had hit. We met on a day I forgot, but my body knew, my breath got caught. You smiled like you weren't meant to be, but everything came back to me. No plans, no calls, just time, a line, a skip, beat, a silent sign I left before you saw my face, carrying that quiet We met on a day I forgot, but the moment says I did not. We talked for hours, never kissed. 1,000 chances we just missed. You held my hand like it was air. I let go like I didn't care. We shared too much to be just friends, but not enough to call it end. And now the space between the lines feels deeper than the signs. We made plans and broke them soft, said maybe next time, then shrugged it off. I laughed too loud, you stared too long. We almost knew where we belonged. Your jacket smelled like restless skies, and I never asked the reasons why. It started with a song in a cafe queue, a melody I swore I outgrew. But there it was, in soft refrain, opening doors I'd closed again. Then came the coat in dusty beige, the one you wore that autumn stage. I turned away, but not too far, like pain had learned where all my weak points are. The street was empty, still and wide, yet suddenly you filled the side. The bakery smell, your favorite kind. A scent can be so cruelly kind. I checked my phone, no name, no ping, but I could hear your laughter ring. Not loud, just somewhere deep inside, where time and memory still collide. It wasn't grief, it wasn't rage, just pages falling from the cage. A quiet crumble piece by piece, the kind of break that brings no peace. I thought I healed, I really tried, but healing's just where pain can hide. Today you came with tight. My steps grew slow, and all I said was please don't show. Some days are just surprise goodbyes, where nothing's real but everything tries to remind you that you're not okay. No matter what, you smile today. It wasn't grief, but something cracked. A ghost returned, I thought I lacked. The silence screamed a song you knew, and I broke again without you. I'll breathe it out, I always do. Tomorrow I'll pretend it's through. But today you came like sudden rain, and I remembered all the pain. We sat beneath the movie light, two strangers dressed in almost right. You laughed before the punchline fell, and I got caught inside that spell. I said hello, you said not now. Still we both stayed, we both allowed a version of what could have been, a fragile thread to bear too thin. We were almost something true, a quiet flame we never blew, too real to begin, too soft to last. A dream is placed inside the past. We didn't end, we didn't start, but you still echo in my heart. And when I see a seat for two, I'll leave one side alone for you. We were almost something clear, but some truths disappear from fear. Somewhere in the city, you're turning off the light. I'm making coffee, same sun, same fading sky. We don't know each other, but we share the same time. Maybe on a different street, you're crossing at the light.
You could be at a window I'm walking past right now, thinking of someone else while I wonder who you are. The world feels so connected, but we're always just aside. Two clocks ticking perfectly, but never quite aligned.
Parallel of 417, breathing the same evening air. Maybe you laughed, maybe I cried, and neither of us was aware. Not lovers, not strangers, not even names to know. just threads in the fabric that almost chose to show. Do you ever feel it too? Like someone's missing without missing you. Like there's a version of today where we passed and almost knew. They say timing is everything, but what if timing never speaks? Just moves you near, then turns the page before you see. Parallel at 417, one step apart, one world between. Maybe I looked left, you looked right, and that was closest we'll ever be. A silent kind of miracle that never made a sound. We didn't meet, but still it felt like being found. And maybe years from now we'll sit across the train, wondering why a stranger feels like a name. It was a Tuesday like the rest, rain on glass and coffee press. I didn't think I'd feel a shift, but you walked in my past a trip. You didn't see me at first glance, still my heart began to dance. You ordered tea like you once did, a ritual time itself had hit. We met on a day I forgot, but my body knew my breath got caught. You smile like you were meant to be, but everything came back to me. No plans, no calls, just time aligned. A skip beat, a silent sign I left before you saw my face. Carry in that quiet place. We met on a day I forgot, but the moment says I did not. You said take care in lowercase, no period, just empty space. I saw it blink, I let it sit, and told myself this isn't it. You waited green, I stayed away. Thought silence would be safer gray, but now that silence follows me like static on a memory. I left you on red, like I didn't care, but I still scroll and find you there. Your last words were the quietest, but they never stopped. never felt so sharp until it echoed in the dark. I read it once, I read it still, the message that I didn't kill. You ordered tea, I came for wine. Same cafe, but different time. You like the window, so do I. We shared a view, but not the sky. I heard the song you used to play, but didn't know your name that day. The waitress smiled, your usual seat, and I sat where you used to be. Your scent was faint but still alive, in corners where our lives collide. They say the world is big and small. We circled once but that was all. You left a book, I flipped the page. It made me pause, it made me ache. Who reads Neruda this time of year? Who leaves their meaning lingering here? At the same table, different days, same silence, different face. You were there, I just didn't know, and now I do, too late to show. We almost shared a quiet breath, but missed it like a passing step. It wasn't fate, it wasn't wrong, just not our time to belong. I wonder if you'd recognize the way I laugh, the way I write. You liked your coffee hot and fast. I take mine slow and make it last. You were a chapter I never read, but felt the ending in my head. We wrote no lines, we spoke no word, but still your echo can be heard. At the same table, different days, same city, different ways. You were near, I walked alone, a stranger I've already known. We didn't meet, we didn't start, but something tugged inside my heart. A silent page we never wrote, but somehow I still took note. If you ever wondered too, someone else once wondered you. You were there, I just didn't know, and that's the saddest way to go.
I didn't bring it up, but I saw it in your smile. You didn't mention anything, but your eyes stayed for a while. You traced the rim of your cup the way you used to do, and when the rain began to fall, I knew you felt it too. The date was just a Tuesday, but somehow it still burned. The kind of quiet memory that never quite unlearns. We talked around the edges of things we used to be. You asked about the weather, but never asked about me. We both remembered, we just didn't say the time, the place, the slow decay. You knew the date without asking at all, and I felt you waiting for the fall. We both wore calm like second skin, but silence always lets truth in. We smiled like people on their way, but neither of us walked away. Your hand brushed the table, and mine didn't move. We sat in what we didn't say, like silence could approve. You glanced once at your phone, then looked back with a sigh. And I almost said I miss you, but let the moment pass me by. We both remembered, we just didn't say what started us and slipped away. You knew the date, you knew the time, and I knew you were still partly mine. No flowers, no dramatic scene, just everything that might have been. We didn't speak, but in that gray we both remembered anyway. Some truths don't need a voice. They hang in air, they make no noise. And when you left, I almost stayed, 'cause we both remembered, but let it fade.
It was late, the sky was low. I was walking fast, but moving slow. Then you appeared like some old tune at the edge of dusk under the moon. You turned the corner, light in stride, your hands in coat, your heart in hide. I stopped mid-step, forgot the air, 'cause I wasn't meant to see you there. You didn't see me, not at first, and I wondered if your silence hurt, if you paused or nearly did, or if you just walked past and hid. The crowd went on, the lights turned green, but I was stuck between has been. One name burned beneath my tongue, but my breath chose to stay young. You turned the corner, I froze in place, held by time, by your familiar face. What if I had called your name? Would we be fire or still the same? I watched you fade into the street, with every heartbeat on repeat. We almost met again today, but almost always walks away. I followed steps that weren't for me, past window panes and fallen leaves. The echo of your fading boots felt louder than old painful truths. I reached the curb, you disappeared, but what remained was strangely clear. It wasn't love, not anymore, but something lost I still adore. Some moments don't need photographs, they hang in air, they break, they last. A breath, a step, a miss, the quiet ache of what almost is. You turned the corner, I stood behind, trapped between the past and time. What if I had said hello? Would you have smiled or let me go? Now I just hold that frozen frame of me, of you, of no one's name. We almost met again today, but strangers went their separate ways. But strangers went their separate ways. If someday I walk that path again and you appear like back then. Maybe this time I won't delay. Maybe this time I'll say your name. You pass me in the frozen aisle. Same cologne, same crooked smile. I reach for bread, my hand half raised. Your presence left me dazed. I knew the code, I knew the stance. My pulse misread the circumstance. You didn't look, but something stayed, like a memory not yet decayed. I almost spoke your name out loud, but fear can be a heavy shroud. The air changed before you did, and I stayed hidden like a kid. Some ghosts are warm, some glances burn. Some lessons come but never learn. I walked away with lips still sealed, carrying what I never revealed. I almost spoke your name again, but silence felt like less pretend. You pass me in the frozen aisle. Same cologne, same crooked smile. I reach for bread, my hand half raised. Your presence left me dazed. I knew the code, I knew the stance. My pulse misread the circumstance. You didn't look, but something stayed, like a memory not yet decayed. I almost spoke your name out loud, but fear can be a heavy shroud. But the air changed before you did, and I stayed hidden like a kid. Some ghosts are warm, some glances burn. Some lessons come but never learn. I walked away with lips still sealed, carrying what I never revealed. I almost spoke your name again, but silence felt like less pretend. talk hour, never kissed. 1,000 chances we just missed. You held my hand like it was air. I let go like I didn't care. We shared too much to be just friends, but not enough to call it end. And now the space between the lines feels deeper than the signs. We made plans and broke them soft. Said maybe next time, then shrugged it off. I laughed too loud, you stared too long. We almost knew where we belonged. Your jacket smelled like restless skies, and I never asked the reasons why.
We passed each other on the stairs. You nodded once like I wasn't there. I smiled too long, then turned away, pretending we had never stayed. You held your phone like it was new, like you forgot the calls we knew. And in your eyes, not one trace left of all the nights we held our breath.
We talked for hours, never kissed. 1,000 chances we just missed. You held my hand like it was air, and I let go like I didn't care. We shared too much to be just friends, but not enough to call it end. And now the space between the lines feels deeper than the signs. We made plans and broke them soft. Said maybe next time, then shrugged it off. I laughed too loud, you stared too long. We almost knew where we belonged. Your jacket smelled like restless skies, and I never asked the reasons why.
I thought I moved on, I really did. Packed you in boxes I never reopened. I passed your street without a sound and laughed to places we once found. Then one slow morning, the radio played a song that used to hold your name. And just like that, I wasn't free. You came rushing back to me. It wasn't love, not anymore, but something deeper under the floor of days I swept and nights I built to cover up the quiet guilt. You weren't gone, not completely, just hidden soft and sleeping sweetly. And now I see, I never forgot. You were just waiting in a song I forgot. I found you in a song I forgot, a lyric line I never fought, a chorus fading into air, but suddenly you were there. You were just sleeping in my mind, tucked inside an old line, and all it took was one refrain to bring it all back again. field, but echoes live in quiet things like fading chords and melody strings. Now I don't know what hurts me more, that you're still here or not like before. We didn't meet, but I still cried for the version of us that never died. I found you in a song I forgot, and maybe that means I forgot me not. A single note, a simple sound, and suddenly we're all around. You were just sleeping in my mind. Now I hear you every time that song returns, that feeling wakes, and I remember what it takes. To lose someone is not to erase. Sometimes they just find a quieter place. We sat beneath the movie light, two strangers dressed in almost right. You laughed before the punchline fell, and I got caught inside that spell. I said hello, you said not now. Still we both stayed, we both allowed a version of what could have been, a fragile thread to bear too thin. We were almost something true, a quiet flame we never blew, too real to begin, too soft to last, a dream misplaced inside the past. We didn't end, we didn't start, but you still echo in my heart. And when I see a seat for two, I leave one side alone for you. We were almost something clear, but some truths disappear from fear. You were standing by the station, phone in hand, coat in gray. I almost turned and walked the other way, but instead I heard you say, hey, been a while, and I smiled. We talked about the weather and the way the city's changed. I asked about your sister, you asked about my name, as if we hadn't once known everything. We said hello like strangers do, careful words avoiding truth. You smiled like nothing hurt inside, but your eyes said otherwise. The way you laughed just out of place, like hiding cracks in something laced. We both pretended we were fine, but my voice cracked right on time. You checked your watch, I cleared my throat. You said you had to catch a boat. I said take care, you said you too. And just like that we both withdrew. We said hello like strangers pass, as if the past was made of glass. You smiled like it was nothing new, but I saw me inside of you. We didn't cry, we didn't fall, but silence said it all. We said hello like strangers do, but my heart still answered you. If loving's loud, then this was worse. It ended in reverse.
The room was warm, the town was cold, a city I had never known. You sat 2 chairs away from me and smiled like you already knew. We talked about nothing and nothing felt new, but somehow your silence was louder than truth. You said you'd leave by morning light. I said I'd leave before the night, but neither of us really moved, like we were waiting to be proved. The hallway hummed like memory. Your laughter stayed when you had gone. I played the same old record twice, pretending you might sing along. One more night I would have asked your name, would have carved you in my plane ticket's frame, but I just left a note in case you ever came back to this place. I left you in room 302 with a story that almost grew. Not love, not lost, just something true that stayed when I withdrew. The bed was made, the mirror dim. I saw myself, but thought of him. You left no trace, no note, no sign, except the space you crossed with mine. One more night I would have asked your name, would have walked you home through summer rain, but now you're part of this hotel light that flickers softly every night. I left you in room 302, and now that room remembers too, not who you were, but who we were when nothing else felt new. Maybe one day you'll return, maybe not, but I still learn that even strangers leave a flame, and I still burn without your name. It was raining on a quiet street. I was walking with my head down low. Didn't think I'd ever see your face again, not even close. And when our eyes met in the gray, the whole world paused just for a while. You said hello, I smiled so faint, but my heart was screaming all the while. I told myself I'd let you go, but memories still softly glow. Even though we walked away, the silence had so much to say. You said you're doing fine these days. I said the same, but it was fake. I wished I had the strength to say I never moved on anyway. Was it fate or just a twist of time that brought your shadow back to mine? Did you feel it too like I did? Like like something more than just a sign. In a second we became the past. I never could forget the rainy day, that one regret. You're the story I reread. I walked the same path once again, hoping I might see you there. I know it's foolish, I pretend, but I can't help the way I care. You smiled like nothing ever changed, but everything was not the same. I whispered words I couldn't say, still watching as you walked away. Was it chance or something we both knew that brought my heart right back to you? We had our time, we let it go, but part of me still wants to know, if we met again someday, would it still feel just the same? Or would we pass and say no name, like strangers lost in rain? So I hold that moment still, your face beneath the rain. Even if it fades away, I'm glad we met that day.
You stood there in the corner light, your eyes like dusk before the night. I saw you first, I turned away. Some words are harder than they say. I felt the wind, but not my feet. They moved without a thought or beat. One breath, one step, one glance too few, and suddenly I walked past you. We shared no smile, we shared no sound, just silence screaming all around. The city blurred behind my eyes, but all I saw was one goodbye. Did you feel it like I did? Or was I just a ghost you missed? I should have called, I should have stayed, but all I did was walk away. The day I walked right past you, I lost a world I never knew. A single chance, a single beat that slipped beneath the rhythm's cue. No final word, no second glance, just echoes in a broken dance. I didn't stop, I let it go, and now I'll never truly know. I try to trace the
Mine lived in silence, thin and true, the day I walked right past you.
I was late, or maybe you were early. One of us missed the other barely. A coffee spilled, a call delayed, a twist of time, a plan betrayed. The platform echoed like a sigh, the doors closed without a why, and all that almost came to be was swept into a memory. I sat where you might have been, next to someone else's skin, wondering if you felt the same, a ghost inside a different name. No photos, no proof, no sign, but still I feel you cross my mind, like a wind that barely brushed, but still makes everything hush. Missed by a minute, lost in a blink. You were the pause between think and rethink. Wrong train, right feeling, even if we'll never know. Somewhere in this timeline you almost said hello. Oh, 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 oh. Now I watch each passing face, looking for a truth I can't replace. Some near misses feel more true than all the loves I ever knew. Missed by a minute, but stayed for years. Wrong place, perfect fear of what disappears. We weren't meant, or maybe too much, just out of reach, just out of touch. But even now, with time gone cold, your maybe still feels bold. I missed you by a minute, but I'll remember like I didn't.
It was a Tuesday like the rest. Rain on glass and coffee pressed. Didn't think I'd feel the shift, but you walked in my path adrift.
I didn't plan to see you, but the universe did. Same old cafe, same old hour, where all our mornings hid. You walked in like a quiet song that I forgot but still recall. The waiter didn't ask a thing, just brought 2 cups like nothing's wrong. We sat down like we used to, but didn't reach or lean. The flowers in the center vase still halfway wilted green. No updates, no long confessions, no lines to draw or mend. But in the clink of porcelain, we knew we reached the end again. We sat at the same table again. No one asked why, no one explained. 2 hearts rehearsing silence in a room that felt unchanged. You looked at the sugar, I looked away, but the past poured in like yesterday. We didn't laugh, we didn't cry, but something between us did say goodbye. The streetlight flickered outside the glass, just like that night we made our last. You stirred your drink 5 times, then stopped. I counted once and that was enough. We paid the bill like strangers would, not too fast, not like we should. You held the door like old times too, but I didn't walk out next to you. We sat at the same table again, like reruns waiting for an end. We smiled like nothing ever burned, but neither of us ever returned. No one asked why we were there, and we didn't say it either. But deep inside that quiet seat, we buried what we didn't need to repeat.